What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports. I'm back with you guys with another video. In this video, I'm here with my Penn State versus Ohio State Week 13 college football preview and prediction. I'm going to be previewing this game and give my prediction on who will win this game. And before I begin, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, below NFL videos and college football videos daily. So in this game, we have one loss Penn State, who is 9-1 on the season. They're going on the road to face Ohio State, who is 10-0 on the season, and they're looking to give Ohio State their first loss of the season. Now, going into this game, we have a tale of two teams who are kind of going in separate directions. Ohio State has basically reached their peak. They're as good as they're going to be. A lot of people consider this the best team in all of college football. Some people will say that LSU is the best team in college football because they have a better strength of schedule and whatnot. But you can make the legit argument that Ohio State and LSU are both two of the best teams in college football. And Penn State, on the other hand, is a team that's trending down. Ever since the second half of that Michigan game, although Penn State won that game, they haven't been the same team. And when you look at what Penn State has did over the last couple of weeks, it hasn't really been impressive. They lost to Minnesota in a game that they really got dominated by Minnesota for basically the whole entire Minnesota game. They pretty much got dominated besides the full quarter and late in the third quarter when they started to come back to life. But when you look at that Minnesota game, they mostly got dominated in that game. Then you go back in that game last week that they played against Indiana. I thought Penn State should have blown Indiana out the water. And I know Indiana is a solid team, and I know that they were ranked and all of that. But, I mean, there's no reason why Penn State should have struggled the way they did versus Indiana. So, I mean, Penn State is a team that has been trending down the last couple of weeks. And I'm not the only person who feels that. Vegas feels the same way. Vegas actually has Ohio State favored to win this game by 18 points. 18 points. So, I mean, if Vegas feels that Ohio State is good enough to beat Penn State by 18 points, I think that goes to show you how Penn State has been playing over the last couple of weeks. Because before the second half of that Michigan game, they were looking like one of the best teams in the country. And to be honest, a lot of people were making the argument that two Big Ten teams could end up getting in, Ohio State and Penn State. Then that second half of that Michigan game, although Penn State came out that game for win, I mean, they just did not look like the same team. And ever since that Michigan game in the second half, this just has not been the same team that we saw earlier on in the season. They struggled. They struggled against Indiana last week, and they struggled against Minnesota, and they ended up losing that game. And I mean, Vegas feels the same way. They have the data. They spend all day watching football. So, I mean, they know a lot more about football than I do. And, I mean, Ohio State is favored to win this game by 18 points. So, what does that tell you about Penn State's performance? What does that tell you? I said the same thing about Penn State a couple of weeks ago when I was doing my Minnesota versus Penn State preview. I said Minnesota was a 7.5-point underdog going into that game, according to Vegas. And I told Penn State fans, you think that you're going to blow out Minnesota, you're sadly mistaken, because this is not the same Penn State team that you saw early on in the season. This is a Penn State team that has struggled versus top quality opponents over the last couple of weeks, Minnesota and Indiana. And this is Ohio State team that is stacked at every position on the defense side of the ball and on the offense side of the ball. And when you look at Penn State secondary has struggled, which has been a big reason why Penn State has struggled over the last couple of weeks, is because their secondary has not been that good. When you ask Penn State fans, they'll give you all these stats about how good they are on the defense side of the ball and how good they are at getting pressure on the quarterback and things like that. But the stat that they ignore the most is their secondary. They have a secondary that's 60th in college football in passing yards per game allowed, which is pretty average and pretty mediocre in my opinion when you look at the talent that Penn State has in that team. So this is a Penn State team that has been struggling. Now, Ohio State, on the other hand, I mean, Ohio State, the only argument people had against Ohio State was they haven't played nobody. Well, they beat down Wisconsin and they beat down Cincinnati. And Cincinnati is actually one of the better group of 5 schools in all of college football. So, I mean, this is Ohio State team at this point. I mean, this is one of the best teams in all college football. This is arguably the best team in all college football. Now they're getting Chase Young for this game. So, my question for Ohio State in this game is going to be, can they come into this game composed, right? Can they come into this game composed? Can they come into this game not looking ahead of that big game that they have against Michigan in the next couple of weeks? That's what I want to see. I want to see, can Ohio State come to this game composed, focused, not looking ahead to that big rivalry game that they have with Michigan in the next couple of weeks. That's what I'm looking at out of Ohio State. I'm also looking at Ohio State to see if they kind of underplay in this game because, I mean, this is a home game and Ohio State has been pretty dominant, and maybe this is a game that Ohio State doesn't really come in on their best performance or something like that. Maybe they have an off game or something like that. So those are the things I'm taking into consideration in this game. But, I mean, I know I spent a lot of time bashing Penn State, and I didn't mean to bash Penn State or anything like that. I'm just calling it how I've seen it. Penn State has not been the same team that we've seen at the beginning of this season, and it shows that when you look at the line for this game, Ohio State is favored to win this game by 18 points. So that just goes to show you how Vegas looks at Penn State's performance over the last couple of weeks, and Vegas basically sees Penn State in the same way I've seen Penn State, a team that's starting to trend down in their performances over the last couple of weeks. So looking at my keys to victory, what both of these teams to be able to do to win this game, if you're Penn State, you have to limit the big pass plays. This is an Ohio State offense that is getting a lot of big chunk plays. This is a very dynamic offense. And, I mean, when you look at this passing attack, I mean, it's very potent. You got a lot of good wide receivers, a lot of good weapons. You got J.K. Dobbins in the backfield. But the reason why I say limit the big pass plays for Ohio State and not stop the run is because Penn State is very good against the run. And if Penn State's able to stop the run, then you get Ohio State becoming one-dimensional, and then you're able to focus on the pass, and then you're able to get those pass rushes teeing off because Penn State is one of the best teams in all college football at rushing the quarterback. So if Penn State's able to stop the run, and they only have to worry about stopping the pass, then those pass rushers only have to worry about stopping the pass, and they don't have to worry about playing the run as well. So then you also help out the secondary as well, because if they're able to limit the big pass plays, which includes getting pressure on Justin Fields, then that means those cornerbacks aren't going to have to stay in coverage for that long. And anytime your cornerbacks don't have to really stay in coverage that long, they typically end up having pretty good performances. So Penn State has to be able to limit the big pass plays, and they have to keep everything in front of them. The next thing that Penn State has to be able to do is you got to stop Chase Young. Chase Young, he's coming back in this game. He's missed the last couple of games due to some NCAA investigations or whatever's been going on with him. So he's coming back in this game. And Penn State absolutely has to find a way to stop Chase Young. Because this dude, Chase Young, listen, you don't want Chase Young taking over this game. A lot of people legitimately think that Chase Young has a legitimate shot at winning the Heisman Trophy. And the reason why is because of his ability to absolutely take over games. He's literally the only player on the defensive side of the ball that can win a game for Ohio State. No other college football player playing right now has that accolade. That they're so good enough that they can literally carry a team to a victory on the defensive side of the ball. That's how good Chase Young is. He can control the outcome of this game. So if you're Penn State and you're game planning in this game, the number one priority for you has to be able to stop Chase Young. If you're not going to be able to stop Chase Young and you let Chase Young be disruptive and create turnovers and get big sacks and whatnot, then you're going to end up losing this game. You have to game plan and you have to be able to stop Chase Young. So that's what Penn State has to be able to do to win this game. So for Ohio State to win this game, the only thing Ohio State really needs to do to win this game is I think they need to be able to protect Justin Fields. So this is a Penn State pass rush that's very, very scary. This is one of the best pass rushing teams in all college football. So if you're Ohio State, I don't really think Ohio State has really faced the elite pass rush up to this point. Now, I know Wisconsin has a pretty good defense, but I think Penn State has a better pass rush than what Wisconsin has. So, with this being the best pass rush that Ohio State has faced so far, I think they're going to have to put extra emphasis on protecting Justin Fields and giving Justin Fields a little bit more protection than what he has been getting the last couple of weeks. And also a thing when it comes to Ohio State, when it comes to protecting Justin Fields, is that you kind of want to get Justin Fields in a little bit of a rhythm, because Penn State, with this pass rushing unit that they have, they're going to be able to get a lot of pressure. So if you're Ohio State, you have to find a way to protect Justin Fields, because I really want to see, we really haven't seen what Justin Fields has been able to do under playing against a very good pass rush and a very good defense. We if you watch all of Ohio State's games, we really haven't been able to see what Justin Fields has been able to do when he's facing a elite pass rushing team like a Penn State. Now, I know Wisconsin has a pretty good defense and they have a pretty good pass rushing unit as well, but I think Penn State has a better pass rushing group than what Wisconsin has, which is why I think Ohio State needs to put emphasis on protecting Justin Fields in this game. So the team now going to win this game. I'm obviously going to take Ohio State to win this game. Listen, if you was asking me who would win this game a couple of weeks ago, then I most likely would have took Penn State. But now when you look at how Penn State has played over the last couple of weeks, ever since that second half of that Michigan game, they just haven't been the same team. Now, will Penn State lose by 18 points? Will Ohio State cover? I don't know. I think this is too. I mean, I could see it happening, but will I think it happen? Will I think it will happen? I don't see that happening. I can't see Ohio State beating Penn State by 18 points. So I'm going to say Ohio State wins this game 31-24 is my final score prediction. I think this game, I'll say Ohio State wins this game 34-24. So I'm taking Ohio State to win this game by 10 points. I think they win this game 34-24. I think Penn State, they've been looking at this game for a couple of weeks now. They're trying to get this upset and they're trying to get back on track. So I think that Penn State is going to be extra motivated in this game, going against one of the best teams in all college football. And I think they play Ohio State a little bit closer than what everybody expects. But overall, I just think Ohio State will end up proving to be the better team. And I think Ohio State wins this game by 10 points, 34-24. I don't see Ohio State beating Penn State by 18 points. I just can't see that. I think Penn State is too talented of a team to end up losing by that big of a margin to Ohio State. So let me know who you guys think ends up winning this game down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and college football videos. And thanks for watching.